Hey people, it's the Book Pixie, and today we're going to be exploring To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Make sure you have a pen and some paper for today's lesson. You may also want to have your copy of To Kill a Mockingbird to hand. So first, let's quickly go over what we'll be learning today. By the end of today's lesson, you'll be able to understand the key themes in To Kill a Mockingbird, analyse and discuss the characters in the novel, identify and interpret important quotations from the book, and apply critical thinking skills by completing a Pixie Pop quiz. So let's first begin with a brief Pixie overview of the book. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is a classic novel set in the racially charged American South during the 1930s. The story is narrated by Scout Finch, a young girl growing up in the fictional town of Macomb, Alabama. The novel follows Scout and her brother Jem as their father, Atticus Finch, defends Tom Robinson, an African-American man wrongly accused of raping a white woman. The book explores themes of racism, morality, empathy, and the loss of innocence. So now I've explained what the story is about, let's dive into some of the main characters in the book. So first, of course, we have Scout Finch. Scout is the curious and observant protagonist who matures and gains a deeper understanding of the world as the story goes on. Now, let's talk about Atticus Finch. Atticus is the principled and wise father, serving as a moral compass in the face of racial prejudice. We also have Jem Finch, who is Scout's older brother. Jem undergoes significant growth and understanding throughout the novel. Boo Radley is also an important character in the book. He's a mysterious figure who challenges the town's preconceptions and teaches valuable lessons about compassion. Last but not least, we have Tom Robinson, who is central to the story's plot. Tom is the unjustly accused black man, symbolising the racial injustice prevalent in society. Now, there are some really important themes in the story, and we will now go over some of these key themes. The first is racial injustice. This central theme is exemplified through Tom Robinson's trial, highlighting the deeply ingrained racism in society. Listen carefully to the following quote. "There's something in our world that makes men lose their heads. They couldn't be fair if they tried. In our courts, when it's a white man's word against a black man's, the white man always wins." In this quotation, Atticus reflects on the systemic bias that exists within the legal system. He recognises that in a racially charged environment, the scales of justice are unfairly tipped in favour of white individuals, regardless of the truth. This quote underscores the theme of racial injustice by revealing the inherent biases and inequalities embedded within the justice system, which ultimately deny Tom Robinson his fundamental right to a fair trial. Morality and ethics is also a key theme within the story. Morality and ethics are explored through Atticus Finch's unwavering commitment to justice and moral integrity. Listen carefully to these profound words spoken by Atticus Finch. "The one thing that doesn't abide by majority rule is a person's conscience." Here, Atticus is making a powerful statement about the nature of conscience and its role in guiding individual behaviour. He suggests that one's conscience or sense of right and wrong is not subject to the whims of the majority or popular opinion. Instead, it remains steadfast and immutable, regardless of external influences. The theme of morality and ethics in To Kill a Mockingbird invites readers to examine the complexities of moral decision-making and the enduring power of conscience in shaping individual actions and values. Finally, let's talk about loss of innocence in To Kill a Mockingbird. Loss of innocence is illustrated by Scout and Jem's coming-of-age experiences, particularly in understanding prejudice and injustice. Listen to this quotation. It really highlights loss of innocence within the story. "Judge Taylor was polling the jury. Guilty, 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 guilty. I peeked at Jem. His hands were white from gripping the balcony rail, and his shoulders jerked as if each guilty was a separate stab between them. To Jem, the verdict is a betrayal. He never really understood until that point how deep racism really went. It went beyond treating someone disrespectfully and calling a grown man boy. It meant that a black man could not get a fair trial, even when all of Macomb thought he was innocent. I wanted to share a few more quotations with you that further speak to the story's themes and that are really important to know. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. Atticus Finch imparts a crucial lesson on empathy and understanding. By encouraging Scout to see the world from others' perspectives, he emphasises the importance of compassion and breaking down preconceived notions. This quotation serves as a cornerstone for the novel's overarching theme of empathy and challenges the characters, as well as readers, to broaden their understanding of others. Mockingbirds don't do one thing but make music for us to enjoy. They don't eat up people's gardens, don't nest in corn cribs, they don't do one thing but sing their hearts out for us. That's why it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. Miss Maudie's metaphorical statement about mockingbirds underscores the novel's theme of innocence and the injustice of harming those who bring only goodness. The innocence of characters like Tom Robinson and Boo Radley is paralleled with the harmless nature of mockingbirds. This quotation serves as a poignant reminder that harming the innocent is a grave moral transgression, emphasising the need to protect those who contribute only positive elements to society. People generally see what they look for and hear what they listen for. Judge Taylor's observation highlights the human tendency to perceive reality through subjective filters. This quotation encapsulates the novel's theme of prejudice and the importance of questioning one's assumptions. It encourages readers to be critical of their own biases and to recognise the impact of preconceived notions on justice. By challenging the characters and readers to question their perceptions, the quote contributes to the broader exploration of societal attitudes in Macomb. So now that we have learned what the book is about, discussed the main characters, and analysed the book's key themes, let's test our knowledge with a Pixie Pop quiz. The 4 questions you will be answering are: who is the narrator of To Kill a Mockingbird? What does Atticus Finch teach his children about understanding others? Identify one important theme in the novel and provide a relevant quotation along with its interpretation. And then we have the challenge, which is to explain the significance of the mockingbird metaphor in the story. So now enjoy the music whilst taking a few minutes to answer these questions. Try to add as much detail to your answers as you can, and if you have time, give the challenge question a go. See you soon! Okay, time's up. Let's go over the answers to these questions. So, question 1 was, who is the narrator of To Kill a Mockingbird? The narrator of To Kill a Mockingbird is Scout Finch, whose full name is Jean Louise Finch. So, question 2. What does Atticus Finch teach his children about understanding others? Above all, Atticus Finch teaches his children, Scout and Jem, the importance of empathy and understanding others by advising them to climb into other people's skin and walk around in it. This quote emphasises the need to see the world from different perspectives to foster compassion and tolerance. Now, question 3 was a little bit trickier. We had to identify one important theme in the novel and provide a relevant quotation along with its interpretation. Now, you could have mentioned any of the themes discussed today. However, for the sake of modelling an answer for you, I've chosen the theme racial injustice. Now, the quotation I would use for this question is, "There's something in our world that makes men lose their heads. They couldn't be fair if they tried. In our courts, when it's a white man's word against a black man's, the white man always wins." Now, this quote addresses the systemic racial injustice prevalent in Maycomb. Atticus acknowledges the racial bias ingrained in society, particularly in the legal system, highlighting the challenges of achieving justice in a racially divided community. Now, no matter which theme you've chosen, just make sure you've used a quotation in your answer and that you've given it its interpretation. Now, finally, the challenge question was, explain the significance of the mockingbird metaphor in the story. The mockingbird metaphor represents innocence and harmlessness. Mockingbirds are innocent creatures that bring joy through their songs and do no harm. Atticus teaches Scout and Jem that it's a sin to kill a mockingbird, emphasizing the moral imperative to protect the innocent and vulnerable in society, such as characters like Tom Robinson and Boo Radley. That's it for the Pixie Pop quiz. Well done! As we are coming to the end of our lesson, let's review what we learned today. Firstly, we can now understand the key themes in To Kill a Mockingbird. We've also analysed and discussed the characters in the novel. We have identified and interpreted important quotations from the book. And lastly, we've definitely applied critical thinking skills by completing a Pixie Pop quiz. Way to go! Now, just before you go, here are a few things you can do to become a To Kill a Mockingbird expert. Firstly, have group discussions. You can discuss specific themes, characters, or quotations from the book with your peers. Be creative. Maybe you could create artistic representations such as drawings, collages, or maybe a short improvisation that captures the essence of a particular scene or theme in the novel. Thirdly, you should definitely do some more research. Maybe look into the historical context of the novel, exploring events like the Great Depression and racial tensions of the 1930s in the American South. And finally, I definitely recommend watching the film adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird to compare and contrast the portrayal of characters and themes in different mediums. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson and now have a better understanding of To Kill a Mockingbird. Thanks for watching and see you next time.